Welcome to a mini episode of Spark and Cultivate, a web chat for creatives by creatives. Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. It is yours truly, Kia, back here again. Thank you so much for tuning back into Spark and Cultivate. This is another mini episode, and today I want to talk with you all about the big old social media planning. Okay, so first of all, before I jump into it, how many of us are actually on social media? Hand raise hand, yes, no? Okay, well, being on social media as an entrepreneur is very important. I have clients who come to me and just kind of say, Key, I don't have the time. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where to start. But being on social media is very important as an entrepreneur. First of all, you want to know where your audience is. And I don't mean, physically necessarily, but I mean platform-wise. You want to know if the bulk of your audience is on Twitter or on Facebook. Where can you find your audience? Because that is where you want to put most of your focus and time into. You don't want to spend time trying to create all this content for platforms that your audience isn't even on. That's just a waste of your time and energy. So definitely in this phase of planning your social media content, make sure that you're doing the research so that you know where your audience is, and that way you can target your content. Secondly, you want to be realistic with the time that you have to commit. So, you may not have the time. If you have a full-time job like I do, you may not have time to do all of the platforms like Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You may only have time to do Twitter and Facebook. So you want to be realistic with that because you're setting expectations. You want your content to be consistent so that your customers or clients know where you are, what time you are, and how often you're there. So you want to be consistent so that they can, so that you can meet their expectations, basically. And this is to your own discretion. This is your own judgment. So definitely make sure you sit down and really, really think about it. Do not overcommit yourself, because you're going to have customers / clients who may be looking for you at this certain time or on this certain platform, and you're not going to be there, just because you can't juggle it all. And it's totally okay. It's totally okay for you if you're not able to be on every single platform, because it just may not be realistic for you. You also want to make sure that you are connecting with your audience on a daily basis. And this goes into, actually planning, because you want to make sure you're posting to each platform at least once a day. And that honestly is dependent on the platform, because Twitter, you need to be posting at least 2 to 3 times a day. And that is the bare minimum. Twitter runs so much quicker than the others. It's so much more fast-paced. And you want to make sure that you are constantly on your audience's timeline. For some of you who are new to this, I apologize. This probably sounds all foreign to you. But that is another video at a later date. But for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you want to make sure that you're constantly on your audience's timeline. And so Twitter, in the real world, a minute is exactly that. It's a minute. But for Twitter, it's more like a second. So you want to make sure that you are adjusting your content to accommodate that. Okay, so Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, you can get away with, just posting once a day. But Twitter, you definitely have to post more often. Now we get into the nitty-gritty of actually planning your content, and that is scheduling your posts. And I don't just mean writing it down and, knowing what you're going to say, but actually using a platform to schedule your posts, to post without you having to physically do it. And this is definitely beneficial for people like me who have full-time jobs and can't be by their phone or iPad every second of the day or often enough to post consistently. My biggest advice, or my biggest platform that I have to suggest to you, is Hootsuite. And I will put it in the show notes. Hootsuite.com. It is the bomb.com, y'all. Excuse me. You use this to schedule out your posts. So basically what you would do, like we do in blogging, you have your editorial calendar. But don't stop with just scheduling your blog posts. Schedule your social media content as well. Once you schedule it in your editorial calendar, put it into Hootsuite, and Hootsuite will actually send out these posts at the time and date that you request, and you don't even have to worry about it. And this way you're making sure you're constantly putting out content without having to physically do it, you know? So take out a time out of your week, you know, or day out of your week where you have the time to sit down and think about content and plan it all out, schedule it in Hootsuite, and you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week. Now, there are other platforms out there such as TweetDeck that I heard are, you know, pretty similar to Hootsuite. I've never used TweetDeck, but I've heard good things about it. So, you know, do your research and figure out which one works best for you, but definitely find a platform that can help you to schedule out these posts, because sometimes it is a lot, especially if you're managing more than one account per platform. You know, that can be overwhelming. So you definitely need the help, and Hootsuite is there, and TweetDeck even is there to help you do those things. So that is my secret ingredient to how you can maximize, you know, a resource to, or use a resource to maximize your time. And this way you're not feeling overwhelmed, and you can be the social media guru, you know, that you need to be successful as an entrepreneur, to make sure you're constantly in contact with your audience. Lastly, your response time. You know, just as with your blog, when people comment, you want to make sure that you comment back. Social media is the same way, and I think you have to be even faster in social media. Like I was saying previously, Twitter is more fast-paced than the others, so maybe Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, you can get away with maybe posting a couple hours or responding a couple hours later. I would, if you can, respond as quickly as you can, because you want to make sure you stay on top of that. Twitter, you definitely have to make sure you're on top of responding, especially if you're an e-commerce business and you have, and you're running your customer experience and your customer service through your social media. You want to make sure that you're on top of those responses, especially if they have something, you know, a question about maybe an order that they have, or product knowledge, you know, whatever. You want to make sure that you're responding in a quick enough time. I would say, in general, the max 24 hours. I'm being very generous here. That is the absolute maximum. I would respond, like I said, as soon as you can. If not, maybe an hour to 2 hours later. You know what I mean? But make sure that you stay on top of that, because you really want to use your social media. Is not just for you to socialize. It's not just for you to network, which it is those things, but that's not just it. As a business owner, you want to attract clients and you want to retain clients as well. You know, so this is a business tactic. This is a tool that you can use to grow your business, and you have to think about it that way. You know, and that's why a lot of people have multiple accounts, because they have a personal account and then they have a business account, you know. So maybe that's an option for you. That's all I have for you all today. I know that was a lot of information. Please feel free to ask questions, share your comments, concerns. Did I miss something? You know, let me know. And I'd love to hear them all. You can tweet myself or Keezra, and we'd be more than happy to respond. I hope you all have an awesome Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in again to another Spark and Cultivate. Bye. This has been a mini episode of Spark and Cultivate, a web chat for creatives by creatives. You can catch all the latest episodes and show notes at sparkandcultivate.com/webchat. Be sure to tweet us your questions and comments using the hashtag #SparkandCultivate, or our handles at Deluxe Studio and at Without Rival. Thanks for joining us, and remember, start by starting. Every accomplishment begins with a decision to try.